Easy does it.
I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue.
Because if the techniques are not as advanced up at this point that they would not notice the poison, then it checks out with the court record because they surely did not find that out, but maybe we would.
Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
You have insulted plenty of people up to this point.
Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I'll be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
The Minister of Justice? Uh-oh.
May that irritating little bully of student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen.
Huh? Thanks. Was that a prayer then? Nah, I think that she was basically telling you rip. Rest in peace, Ryonosuke. Well, you have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett. And put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination this trial. Oh my. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Yes, Your Excellency. Yeah. It sort of reminds me of me when I did that like a long time ago. With like one palm. Just keep it together, Noby. Keep it together, Noby. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Okay. Like, the only thing that I noticed right over here is, like, the last statement in which he basically taunts us about what ways a man can be taken. Like, a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, which would be the poison. But we have to demonstrate, like, we have to show evidence that there was a way. I can give up the idea that it was poisoning and the evidence will be Hosonaga himself, like, right over here. Since he's coughing blood over there, but that's... It is a little bit of a stretch at this point. Like, we need, like, stronger evidence for that. And there's also the glass bottle, but we also need evidence to show that there was actually poison inside that. Like, I'm thinking the way Giselle Brett administered poison was with a pill of some sort that dissolves inside the glass bottle. She gets like one she had like one pill that would dissolve. She carries it with her. She grabs it from her handbag or somewhere and she put it in the glass bottle while Wilson does not notice that. Like, that would be one way. Another way would be that maybe the bottle itself, like right over here, like the carbonated water would have poison, in which case, like, Hosonaga would have been the one responsible for that. But let's see. But his hand was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed.
Do you think so? Let me ask you something.
Sorry?
Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fire on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You cannot not have noticed, can you?
Oh? What? Ow!
What fun. You hadn't realized.
Dear lady is absolutely right. Oh. As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryonosuke. Lo and behold, Kazuma as well forgot to do that. Wait, what? Lo and behold, everybody has them open right now without noticing. Why didn't you tell me?
Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing?
No. Unless he was secretly a samurai or something like that. I cannot even imagine something like that.
Oh yes, I think my tiny brain can.
No, you can't. Simp.
Yes!
Well, I cannot.
Anyway. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast.
Yes!
As I testified before, you were drinking carbonated water. Is that right? Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at that time, if I remember. We can explain why he ordered that drink. Crack waiter. Exactly as you say, sir. Although... Although... Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table. I'm afraid I don't remember that.
Damn you. Ah, I have enough English to understand that, at least. For the benefit of others in the court, it means, bless you.
Close. You got one word right. I think it means the exact opposite. Yeah, I mean, Midanosuke did have his English classes. He would understand some of that.
Anyway. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death, besides the gunshot.
Actually, you know what? When I think about it this way, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. Meaning she's telling us that the gunshot was the only possible cause of death. But no, it's actually the loss of blood after the gunshot that was the cause of death for this. So yeah, that's one thing that we can contradict over here. Yeah, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma. Nosuke, you're looking at the wrong thing here. Unless, I don't know if that is the technicality that they're going with here, I guess we shall see. Okay, for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death. It can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life. Yeah, I mean... I guess we shall see. But it doesn't make sense. The burn must have happened straight away, when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yeah, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, you wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. Well, it kinda makes me question how long the plate would be hot at that point, and how much time it would take for it to cool off. If it was right out of the oven and then put it on the table, how long would it take for the plate to cool off? And if the victim burnt his wrist on a hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must have already been dead at that point.
Objection!
And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot on the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove it, this is a complete waste of time.
Yeah, that's true.
Ah! If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me.
Yes!
Without leaving a trace.
If someone is shot, or strangled, or stabbed, or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body.
Traces on the body. Traces that would tell us that he was poisoned. I don't know, I mean, it doesn't really show me here. Traces on the body. Like, we cannot see his mouth or anything like that. The knife there.
Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hasanaga?
As I said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There will be physical traces with all those causes of death. That's true. But maybe there is some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. Yeah, which would be the poisoning.
If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? Oh no, perish the thought. Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question.
On my honor, I, Taketsuchi Gauchi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions with my fan. No way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yeah, evidence. Evidence.
But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably won't pick up on it anyway.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that?
In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once, and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today. Just days after the incident. Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
Oh? Are you okay there, Hosonaga-san?
It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand? A killer blow. The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouch is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. I mean, you surely don't know about Sims. Don't ask about, oh boy, they can do anything. They are gonna be going for any direction they want. They're gonna go to great lengths. So, there's something about what Ms. Best just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. What do you think, Nosuke?
To be honest, I think it's going terrible.
No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yeah, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean to find a way. I have to find a way, quick! There must be some clue somewhere to help us find her, to find that chink in her armor. That's always a weird word, like chink in her armor. Cosmo. What did I ask? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Hosonaga. Yeah, I'm looking at him. The detective. Yeah, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. Oh. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, Let's see what we can get out of the detective. Yeah. I guess one evidence that we can get out of this is if we can make Hosanaga do a slip of the tongue over here about a possible poisoning and such. If we can do that, then we may be able to create an opening here. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose. Once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. Okay, well, thank you for telling me that. Let's see.
Yes!
Great ace attorney.
Wait.
Oh. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. Can we react in a certain way to that? Hopefully. Yeah, there it is again. Like, shoot like a truth bullet. Pow! Like, in the middle of the cross-examination. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? I don't know. The detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the English woman has to say. And this could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. Yeah, I guess so. Right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man in his train of thought. Oh, hold on a second. I feel like I'm sensing like a new mechanic over here. Like, now, this whole thing with multiple witnesses at the same time, this is a new thing for me. Before we had Ayose Nosa and Korekuta on the same stand. Same thing over here. Maybe there's gonna be situations when we cross-examine two people at the same time, and we're definitely gonna have to determine who is the one on guard the most, and who is the one that is the least on guard. We have to determine that, and find our way through the testimony by determining who is the least on guard, who would do the slip of the tongue the most. That would actually be pretty interesting, if that is a mechanic that we're being introduced right over here. Sorry, pursue. I'll explain how to do it now, Ninosuke. It's all to do with the witness mark. What marker? Don't you see? It's like the dots right over there. Oh yeah, like the cloud that is forming around Hosanaga. I don't know how the fuck that is possible in real life, but hey, who am I to question this? Ryunosuke doesn't know that he is inside of a visual novel, so he doesn't understand why this stuff is happening. Also, he doesn't understand why Kazuma is talking about this as if it's a game. Like yeah, like Kazuma would say, well, of course, Ryunosuke, this is a game. And Ryunosuke would be, can you really see this entire situation as a game, Kazuma? Like, he thinks that Kazuma is not being serious about this, but no, this is Kazuma is breaking the fourth wall over here. Yeah. At the moment, we focus on Ms. Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with A and D, it can turn your attention to other people in the stand. Wow. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with space. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. New mechanic! You ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand? Take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker across with A and D, and focus on the detective. Then pursue with space, and see what's on his mind. Here we go! I don't know what the fuck all that stuff means, like A and D's and space. I don't know what you're talking about, Cosma, but I'm understanding the gist of it.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost.
Oh, hold on a second. Why are you coming right over here?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Yeah. What the? What's the meaning of this? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply. You look like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say. If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this? Is the delightful English woman who's testifying at the moment. You know, I like this ouchie. Like, you don't see it in the present time Pain, but this guy, like, okay, he is sweating up the bucket as well, just like Pain. But he does have his moments of, okay, regaining his composure and such, trying to take control of things. Like, I don't remember seeing that much of it with Pain. Here, it is definitely shown that this guy has a lot more of a professionalism going with him, despite having the similar traits as Pain over here, which is nice. If you cannot find the fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over. Immediately. Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective isn't a stunt, which makes him a valid witness. Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Inspector Hosanaka. Yes. Do you have something to add, in relation to the statement just made by Miss Pratt? Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. Okay. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hasanaka, always try to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. Oh? I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief? We may be going in a certain direction that I was thinking of, maybe. Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Is that... This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. I don't know. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. Okay, well, we have that. I cannot say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. The carbonated water the victim and Miss Brett shared on the day of the murder. It was on the victim's table. Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Well, okay. When the time came for the crime scene to be photographed and such, the bottle was right over here. If it's the same, then... Oh, hold on. Now, it could be that originally this had a poison, but Hosanaga took that bottle and cleaned it and then put it back over there. Let me look at this. I don't find anything out of place. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. It must be very expensive water. Yeah, what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You can just say that you don't know. Okay. Nothing on the tip. Hold on, let me do it like this. Nothing inside. Nothing on the back, maybe? So this coming in the water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. Looks like there's a little left in the bottle. Otherwise, just plain water now. That's still left, you see. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm honestly parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. No, no! No, Yonosuke, you cannot do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You don't go drinking evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? Ugh. Having like flashbacks over here. You never cease to amaze me, Yonosuke. In more ways than one. You know what they say, curiosity killed the cat. And there are some cats that can be killed in certain ways, Yonosuke. Don't be that cat. I wonder, what does it feel like to be a cat? Could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I may have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. He figured out something? Oh, that's nice. That is lovely. Yes, it was that bottle. What is that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control this. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. Okay, well... Actually, let me go through this. Maybe there's gonna be like new updated thing over here. New evidence. Excellent work here on this guy. I never thought of pursuing another witness over the current witness's statements. That was a great idea of yours, Kazuma. Well, it was all thanks to your noticing that the detective had reached strangely what the lady said. I guess he had all that bubbling away under the surface. To be honest, you keep surprising me at every turn. Sorry? Oh, never mind. So you know that Dr. Wilson was killed at around the time the steak was brought to his table, and by some means that left no physical trace on his body. If I could just demonstrate how it was done. I do have one idea about that. About how the professor was killed. Maybe I should present the evidence and see what happens. Yeah, okay, so I guess we are presenting a possibility over here. We don't have particular evidence that, like, as of now, we don't have, like, any specific evidence that, oh, this water bottle was holding poison as such. But we are going to be presenting the possibility through this right over here. So let's see. What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? Okay, let me see about this. Let me see what the reaction is to everyone around here about the possibility of poison, given the current times that we're talking about right over here. Like if death by poisoning is a thing that is reoccurring around here, or this is something unimaginable that they never thought of. On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order! 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 And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one. There's only person who could possibly have done it. Giselle Brett. It was you.
Objection!
This is outrageous. To suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You rookie imbecile. Have you ever considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Fuck the accord. Have you even the faintest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual guilt with respect to one crime. Why? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We're here to determine the truth. Whether we're talking about humans, aliens, or parrots, it doesn't matter. It makes no difference. We are here to determine the universal truth.
If I may, I will silence you forever for this disgrace. It is you who should be silent. Oh, of course. Dear lady, your majesty.
Where did that come from? She just snapped.
I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring?
I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector. And whether it contained poison or not.
Of course.
You did?
Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. You'll find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself.
Oh.
Okay, well, this is a turn.
I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
Oh, so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think the examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett.
No. I'm just glad the matter is resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present to court at this point? Evidence. He's telling us that There was nothing in this, like no poison. Hosonaga is telling us that there was no poison in this. I mean, still. It can be, well, okay. He's telling us that there was no poisoning in the bottle. But it doesn't necessarily mean that there can be no poison that was put on just the glasses by Giselle Brett, which is a pill or something like that, that dissolves in the water or something like that, or some liquid that she took, like one of those very, very small vials that holds poison, in similar fashion to Dahlia Hawthorne's poison in the past. So even if there was no poison here, there could have been some poison, like in this bag, like in the glass bottle that she took with her. Yeah, it can very well be that. And Hosonaga still would have been poisoned if he's coughing because of the poison that he had to drink that glass bottle, and then Giselle Brett took the empty glass bottle. Now, one thing that makes me question is if Hosonaga drank that poison, he is still alive even after 3 days and such. He's coughing blood. Either we're talking about him being super tough to resist that poison, or I'm sorry, Yonosuke. I have nothing more.
Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving.
Hold it!
No?
Please, wait.
Isn't that... What is the meaning of this?
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Mikotoba? Oh, so she's related to Professor Mikotoba. In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hands, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. (22nd November, 1:14 p.m. Spring Court of Judicature, Court number 2. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom?
A judicial assistant? And a woman, no less.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, these are old times.
The rules state, the females are not permitted into this court of law, or they not to testify. Yes, I fully understand. I only ask for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency, I am most grateful.
Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now.
Okay, what is it? A report about something? Written in English. Oh. Yeah, I have an inkling that this has something to do with Professor Mikotoba. He is a professor of medicine, from what I know. He is an authority in forensic medicine. Yeah, forensic. And this is a report. meaning that maybe Mikotoba actually worked on a autopsy, an actual autopsy, like a much more advanced autopsy for Dr. Wilson, which would tell us that maybe there was poison inside.
It's Giselle Brett's research.
Oh. Her research. The English woman's?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh yeah, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, like whatever it is, having something to do with the case?
I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of cure and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Okay. So this is an actual autopsy that Professor Mikotoba actually did on Dr. Wilson, but rather this is a report that tells me that Giselle Brett studied the effect of poison, possibly, on humans. This can tell us something. Cure? What's that? I never heard that word before.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
It must have something to do with cure, but I had never seen that word specifically.
Time's up!
The investigation demands the immediate removal of the female trespasser from the courtroom.
There was too little for me to read it in detail. But I've summarized what I could on a note, just inside the cover.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm sure that Yonosuke appreciates that.
If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eyes over it.
This is wonderful. Thank you. Giselle's report has been entered in the court record. A report detailing an unknown poison that Miss Brett has been researching during her time at University.
Goodbye then, and good luck.
Okay, well, thank you. Susato was her name. You've had long enough, Counsel. We do not detain our English guest any longer. Okay, well, let's see. Let's see what we can get out of this. A poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Effects: instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Out of entry. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Oh. But is that the only way of entering the body? Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients will die of suffocation. Okay, so from what I'm understanding of here, this can be used as an anesthetic, but as long as they don't have like ways of treating this in a way that still makes the body like breathe and such, it would result in death in the way it is right now, from what I'm understanding over here. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death. Paralysis of the body, subsequent death. When the poison enters the body through a wound. Like, if we're talking about the poison entering through a specific wound, it can enter through the chest once the gunshot actually happened. Although, to be quite honest, putting like the poison after he was shot, Kinda sounds redundant, but I guess we shall see. As the prosecution and the defense now, one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Also, can I not even, I can only examine the contents of this. I cannot examine this in 3D. Your Honor, there are other options here. This really is our very last chance. Yeah, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. The judge surely knows it. Well, Miss Brett,
Yes, Your Excellency.
if you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to polite.
Forgive me, Miss Brett, since I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, Your Lady. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? I mean, whose fault is it that you think that the language makes no sense? It is you.
Yes!
Ms. Giselle Pratt, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at UMA University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence, perhaps. Into a deadly poison.
Sheer coincidence? What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as Curar, Your Excellency. I assume that is how you say it. Curar. If not, then apologies. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What? What complete and utter nonsense? Cure, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Curar before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist. Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they never identify Curar. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order! 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 Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report offered by the visiting research student from England, Curar has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. He says that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. He claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Curar suffer instant death. And then Ryonosuke is looking at this stuff and he's all, just like Kazuma said. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspersions are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain. The other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? I mean, that is a good point. I mean, When I was talking about my idea of a poison that would take away a man's life, like silently, that would imply that that the victim would die without even noticing, that they wouldn't be in pain or something like that. Let me see this again. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death in minute doses. As an anesthetic. Patients will die of suffocation.